What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another MLB The Show 20 Diamond Dynasty video. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, we have done it. Through much blood, sweat, and tears, and do I mean tears. These eyes have not been so damp since seeing the opening scenes of Up. There's more sodium in this room than in the Travis Scott meal. But you know what? Cactus Jack sent me to say, Garrick is ours, baby. We have finally completed it. And today we are going to go over tips on Conquest Extreme, on Moments Extreme, and Showdown Extreme. That's the other one. 3 tiers. There's a lot of stuff to unpack, go over in this video. So before we unpack said stuff, make sure to leave a like down below. That'd be fucking awesome. Would really appreciate it. We've been grinding this on stream, and I think this is gonna really help you guys out. Subscribe if you guys are new. Hit 45,000 yesterday. Appreciate that so much. Now we're on the road to 50,000. So let's get into it, not waste too much time here. So, well, I guess we're going to go right back in there. There's 3 things that you have to do. Showdown, Conquest, and Moments to, of course, get to the end goal of Gehrig. Each is going to get you a third of the way there. The best thing to start on, in my opinion, was Showdown. Me as, average MLB The Show player, let's be honest, it was still quite easy for me to do, and this is what I have to say with Showdown Extreme, because I know a lot of people do have some difficulties with this, so this would be my tips. So first of all, in the draft, this is going to be quite obvious, but position does not matter, nor does defense. You might usually say, oh, David Ortiz sure doesn't seem like he play catcher in a pinch, but in this case he can, because we're not going to need to play any defense. So who do I think is the best hitter out of here? I think it's Ortiz. It really comes down to who you like as a the swing as well. That's important, and you just want to get the best guys offensively. There is 2 lefty mini bosses and 3 righties, so a guy like Mookie Betts, fucking fantastic, otherworldly against right-handers, but against lefties you might as well have, I don't know, Pat Valaika, Scott Pasednik. They could probably do a much better job against left-handers, so you have to factor that in. And maybe I'll go Jonathan Scope right here. So yeah, you just want to get the offensive guys. Typically, I do recommend power more so than contact. Nelson Cruz is about what you would expect, about what you would want. The ideal pick here in this draft. Again, Eugenio Suarez, just the guy I've been looking for. I wouldn't usually take Josh Fregley. I'm just trying to, super speed through this. And the quirks. They rhyme, but they're quirks. This is important. You do not want to pick any ones that have outs. For example, 2 outs for this lifeline doesn't matter, doesn't count. It has no effect. It won't work because you're just doing mini bosses in the final showdown. This is only good for the moment, so find something that, of course, is offensive oriented, and usually the 2-strike ones, which we'll talk about a bit later, but inner peace is great. Anything like that that isn't out restricted is what you want to look for. And yeah, we're just gonna skip to the final showdown. I did not skip to the final showdown myself. I played all the mini bosses, and this is what I'd say to you. This is the best gauge, really, if you should be playing instead of asking, because a lot of people had this question in stream, and I'd a lot of times come to this conclusion. How well have you been slapping the proverbial arse of the computer? Have you really been getting in there? If that's the case, keep pushing. You're probably not going to lose. Again, if you have this one where you need 2 or 3 runs rather and 10 outs, and you get it after only recording 2 outs, I'd say you're pretty goddamn hot. About as hot as the fire that you see right there. Keep pushing, baby. Keep playing. There's no reason to stop. It's going to make it easier on you, and of course, know your own parameters. If you're not the most elite gamer barbarian, do not attempt to be an elite gamer barbarian and go nuts, go down 20 with 30 outs with not a great team. That's what I'd say to you. So yeah. You're going to have 2 lefties. It's McKay, and I think Paxton. It always goes righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, and then, of course, you're going to have, or I guess it depends. So this time you are going to have 3 lefties, but it's usually 2-3 splits either way. Then, of course, Nate Pearson's always going to be your final boss. What you want to do here, I'm not going to hop into the game, but you want to sit fastball. That's the most important thing that you want to do. He has 4 pitches only. 1 is the fastball, and I think somebody put it down. It might have been on some forum. He throws it about 80% of the time, so that's 8 out of 10. You can imagine, that's quite often, quite frequent. He's going to be throwing that 102-mile-an-hour fastball. So you're going to want to be prepared for that pitch. If he's going to dot a corner on a curveball, so be it. Go ahead, Nathan, and treat it like the Nigerian prince that asked you for $10,000 to help him out in your spam email section. Disregard that motherfucker, you know? Don't even worry about it. Don't be afraid to get in 2-strike counts. Again, that's where you're going to want to try and find the perks that help you out with 2 strikes. I'm blanking on the names of them right now, but those are going to be really important. And be patient. You have a lot of outs, to work with. You have 30 outs, and you're going to be down 11 to 20. You're only going to need 10 runs and 30 outs if you do play up till here. And as long as you're patient, let him do the damage that he's doing to himself. He's going to get really wear down in energy, and it's going to be a lot harder for him to hit the strike zone. So that's really what you do want to do as far as Showdown Extreme goes. It is 1,000 stubs each time that you do go into it, which isn't that big of a deal in and of itself, and you do get some good rewards from these mini bosses. A lot of XP, a lot of stubs if you guys have not hit 100 prestige. So yeah, that's going to be my tips as far as Showdown Extreme goes. Let's move on to the moment section. This is what I did second. I think this is the most difficult. Showdown was laughably easy. They might have well called that Showdown mild, get it? I made that same joke last year. It wasn't funny then. Why would I think it's funny now? Moments Extreme. This is where you actually have some tactics at your utility belt that you can go ahead and deploy. And it's going to be especially useful for the Yelich and the Gehrig right here. Hop into it. Yelich and Gehrig, this is where Moments Extreme for some becomes Moments Hell. These are the moments that really put the hair on your chest. So, Yelich, you need 3 homers in this one game. For Gehrig, you need 4 extra base hits in that game. We're looking at Yelich right here, and you're going to want to play them about the same. First of all, you obviously want to wait for your pitch. That's usually not one that you want to swing at, especially if you're looking to hit a home run. It's going to be closer to your getting a hit by pitch rather than being hit over the wall. So you want to wait for your pitch, but at the same point, a walk is not going to help you. A walk is just as good as, well, you not getting a home run. It's not going to help you. So if that happens in your first at bat, you just want to restart because you only get about 4 of those usually for this Yelich moment. I think you get about 5 for the Gehrig, if that. So you have to use all of them to their full stature. You really got to make use of these bad boys. So with Yelich, if you don't get a home run first at bat, just restart. Power swing on everything. There's no point to X swing. It is going to be the difference between some of those perfect liners that aren't going out and just going for doubles, which again, for Yelich in particular, don't help you as I fucking strike out. That's pretty embarrassing. I promise you, this did not take me that long to complete, but that's really what you're going to look to do. And I'll be honest, there's a good bit of luck intact into this moment because there's some that you just won't hit a home run on for whatever reason. It really comes down to timing. Overall, I would say being a bit early or obviously perfect is what you want to aim for. So that is really your game plan with Yelich. And the same is going to work for Gehrig right there. And this one, the Fearsome Pearson. A lot of people had trouble with this one now. This is what I'm going to recommend. Basically, the same approach. Obviously, you're not going to swing at bullshit. You're going to actually want to swing at strikes typically. X-swing this time. You don't usually want to power swing. I just don't find it to be as worth it, especially because it is on Hall of Fame difficulty. He does have hyper 9s. It's going to be tough to have as good a swings with the power swing if you try and do it on this moment where you don't have to hit home runs like you do right there, and you don't have to hit an extra base every single at bat. So, they're going to throw a lot of balls. The same thing we talked about with Showdown for Pearson. You're going to have to wait him out. Make sure, don't be afraid of going down 2 strikes. It's really not that big of a deal, so just keep that ingrained into your head. Again, defense does not matter. Position does not matter. So you don't have to have a fantastic catcher if you want to go ahead and put a guy like Frank Thomas behind the backstop. Go ahead and do so. I think he could probably play catcher regardless. That's a big, beefy motherfucker. He could probably stop about anything that you throw to him. And then you can go ahead and stack your lineup with switch hitters or lefties. They're not going to take out Pearson, which again is going to help you out as far as his energy goes. Be patient. He's going to walk you a bunch. And whereas I would still recommend somebody like Trout because he's still just so great against right-handers. But a perfect example is Buster Posey. Fucking worthless, really. 104 or 106, doesn't really matter. 76 power, worthless. You might as well have, I don't know, KJ Harrison back there. He's not going to do very good for you. So plug in somebody like Eric Thames there. Just have your lineup work it to your advantage because defense does not matter. Something else I would say is try to get the extra bases done as soon as possible. If you do have to try and power swing, maybe it will work for you. I X-swung myself, and that's what worked for me. So at the end of the day, if it works for you, go ahead and do it. If it does not, just X-swing. I think that is going to work. You know, it didn't take me too long, and I think it is tried and true. And if you don't get an extra base hit in the first inning, just quit. There is really no point. Maybe even a run, because you do need 5 runs against him. And yeah, it might seem like it's going to take more time, but would you rather take that, 2 minutes it's going to take to bat in the first half of the inning, or wait until the 9th and find out you're not going to have all the stats that you need to actually finish it, and you just wasted 40 goddamn minutes? So think about that. This one, 10 strikeouts, no home runs, give it up. This one, I only failed once. I pitched Tom Seaver personally. That is what I went ahead and did. I think it's just going to be your number 1 pitcher, or I don't know. Yeah, it's just going to be your number 1 pitcher there. High fastballs and breaking balls with Tom Seaver was my bread and butter, and that worked quite fantastically, have you? I got the 10 strikeouts, I think, in, I want to say 4 innings or so. 4 to early in the 5th inning. It went very quick. They have a lot of guys with low vision within their lineup, which again is going to work to your advantage. And what you're going to do afterwards, once you get those 10 strikeouts, is throw a lot of low changeups in the strike zone. If you don't hit, if it's like that right there, again, you probably want to have a good catcher in there now. I don't think Eric Thames is going to be too effective behind the dish, but now walks don't hurt you. Runs do not hurt you. If they keep dinking and donking you with base hits, does not matter. But what does matter is your stamina bar. If you dip into the yellow on your energy, take out your pitcher, because you are a lot more inclined to give up home runs at that point, which is going to completely null and void the rest of the moment regardless. You could have 50 strikeouts for all it matters. You're gonna have to do it again. Come back against Mariano Rivera on Legend difficulty. This one gave me some difficulty. This was for sure the most times I had to restart any of these. And again, the same thing's gonna go. If you don't score a run in the 8th inning, especially being that you only have 2 and you're down 2 runs, obviously you're going to want to restart there. If you don't score in that first inning of play, just, restart. It's going to take a few minutes, yes, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it because you are down 2, down 6-4. You're going to have to get the victory. Again, low changeups was still more so what I did, and I'm not just throwing those. Again, don't get my words confused. I did still throw other pitches, some breaking balls and the occasional fastball. You just can't hang it. More so, let it be a ball opposed to hanging down the middle. That's what you're going to want to do. So just be cautious on that. And they're going to be, especially for this, where they have the home run option of winning the game. So that is key to know. And yeah, if they get to 2 strikes, do not be afraid of it. He is going to dot you up a lot with those sinkers, with those cutters on the quarter of the strike zone. There's not much you can do with that. You can try and swing at it. I would just let it be a waste pitch. Look for the straight stuff. Look for the 4-seam. That's where you're going to do damage. It's going to take some trial and error if you're anything like myself. So that is my tips on going about that one. And then finally, the God Squad. This one, it took me just 1 try. It wasn't really too difficult. Legend difficulty, if you have a good game, it's a pretty good matchup. I played some Legend games on Conquest. Same thing goes, except it's, well, ×3 the duration. And ×3 the fun, huh? So again, yellow stamina, make sure and take that motherfucker out of the game. Bring in the cavalry. You're going to want to look for some pitchers with high BB9 and high control. Again, kind of the same thing as far as this. Tom Seaver has both of those checked. You know, both of those boxes checked, so you're going to want to look for those kind of pitchers. I think Mariano Rivera, his price went up 40k once these moments came out, which makes sense because he was really who I went to a lot. And I would say if you want to bunt out of this, get at least 5 runs. If you want to try and make it go faster, that's what I did. I went on them, I pounced early and often. I was really clapping them. I really had no trouble hitting them, and that's going to be moments. So I recommend doing that second. It is the most difficult, and you can probably interchange that or Showdown, but Conquest should be last, because this, good lord, okay, you can call it Moments Extreme, you can call it Showdown Mild. This, it's more like Conquest, take up your entire day. Conquest, get rid of your responsibility Extreme. Extreme amount of time fucking spent, because it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take you probably around 8 to 10 hours to do it in its entirety. The reason why is because everything is turn-based, and you also have to finish the map in its entirety. Now, originally, I recommended to do all the turn-based. Do that, get the stronghold, restart. Not what you want to do. This is how you start off. You're going to want to go down south, and I think it was Healy. We were talking about this on stream, and he actually popped up in stream and gave me a couple more things as far as tips go on what he did. And really what you're looking for is to knock out pretty much the Twins, the D-backs, the Astros, the Cubs, the Reds, the Phillies, the Nationals, and if you can get there still, if you don't lose any games, if you're still on good progress, the Brewers and the Braves. So that's going to be, I believe, 9 strongholds that you don't have to play twice. You do those turn-based, and after that, you're going to have to do some steal fans. That's a goal regardless. You have to steal 16 million fans, as you can see. Again, I have a good team. I feel pretty confident in myself. I think I only lost 1 Conquest game out of 40 to 50 that I actually played. You're gonna have to do even more than 4 steal fans, but I played them on Hall of Fame to get 4 million fans of course per. And yeah, that's going to be your prerogative. And once you get these strongholds done, you're not going to restart. You're going to complete the map in its entirety then. So you're going to have about, I would say, a third of the turn-based strongholds done. And then at that point, after you finish the map, you're just going to do trips for those for different ones. For example, the trip out east and the trip out west, I had to do because at that point, I wasn't running the southern method. I didn't know of that at that point, so I had already completed these. But what you want to do when you're doing the out west trip, get the White Sox, get the Rockies, and then go ahead and get the Rangers, the A's, and the Angels. I don't know if you're going to have to steal fans because, again, I had already done these at this point, so I just tried and slithered my way through, try to pipeline, and hope you get lucky, and it comes down to that a lot. So the trips you're going to have to take if you did what I suggested first is go this way, White Sox, Rockies, Rangers, Angels, A's, then the same vice versa for this half, and then you're going to have to do the southwestern tip for the Dodgers, Padres, and the southeastern for the Mets and the Cardinals. That's, think about the most efficient way that you can go about this, and the pipeline's going to be the key. You're going to run into some bullshit. It's going to happen. If you guys were watching on stream, you saw it. For example, this is how I'd recommend going down to the southwestern tip. You're gonna have to get lucky here if you don't want to play any more games, because sometimes the Twins will beat you there. They did them. If that's the case, restart it, try it up again. It's gonna take mere seconds, and what is mere seconds compared to mere $60 of a controller, huh? If you ask me, I think it's worth the cost. That's a pretty good fucking trade-off. So again, we're just gonna try it again. And the Twins didn't beat me this time, so that's great. We can continue going out southwest, and I do think you're probably going to have to do a steal fans just to get it a little extra boost to get there quickly, because I never ran into inexperience to them not overtaking and cutting off the pipeline 2 times over. And all you need to do is just get one stronghold at that point, because you have another base and you can continue to replenish your fans on the string that you're going. So if they cut you off here, you can't keep progressing down south. So again, we're just going to do this. We're just going to see what happens, see if my RNG is feeling good today. And it is not. They do cut us off. They cut off the circulation from my ball sack, and that's unfortunate. Trial and error is key, but again, I would recommend stealing the fans there, because in that case we could have gotten down to the dodges if we got that extra 4 mil. So that's my tips for Conquest. Again, if you are still asking about the packs, it is all varied around here. None of it is on the strongholds. I posted a video on that already if you want to check it out. And those are my tips. That's how you're going to get Gehrig. Again, if you don't want to get Gehrig, that's fine. I don't think you really have to. Babe Ruth is statistically better offensively. Gehrig's swing I do like a little bit more, but be for what it may. I said this in stream, if I didn't do content, if I didn't do YouTube, I'd probably only do the moments in Showdown right away, and I'd gradually, slowly do Conquest over time. But if you guys have any other questions, I'll be glad to answer them down below in the comments section, or pop into stream sometime, baby. But if you guys did enjoy it, leave a like down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.